there's dark times in your career where you just have to look back and really realize, like, okay, like, am I happy here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I working towards? This is good money, but like, it's just hurting me. Like, I'm reinvesting in therapy and reinvesting on like.
Sit back, relax, 'cause it's time for another podcast.
Welcome back, Sugarshack, to another episode of our podcast. Today we've got a awesome conversation that we're going to have with Dave Alper and Chino. Chino, how do you say your last name?
Young. And that's actually not my name. That's
your nickname.
Yeah.
Elard. Ellard.
Yeah.
Ellard.
I had to choose finally between how I want people to pronounce my name once I moved here.
Where did Chino come from?
I'm like quarter Chinese.
Okay.
My dad is like first-born generation or second-born generation Chinese. So there's some Chinese in my family. My last name is Young Chinese.
Oh, true.
So like first day of high school here, I was trying to pronounce my name like I would normally do. People wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
So like, Young, what's your last name? Young. So is that Chinese? Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. You're Chino now. Cool.
You're Chino then,
Yeah,
and you just kind of adopted it.
Yeah. I just
from a young age then.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
I was like 16-ish.
Yeah. True. Dope. Well, Chino. I know you as Chino. Nice little rabbit trail there. Yeah. We're excited to have you guys joining in today, and we want to give a special thanks to Traeger Grills again for dropping this Ironwood 885 off to Sugarshack. Tonight, we cooking up some fish tacos.
Yeah.
We got a little, what kind of fish we got going? What we got, Spence? Little haddock?
Little haddock.
Haddock? I was like, I don't know, haddock, yeah. We're getting it seasoned up. It's looking good. It's smelling good. We're going to throw it on here in a bit. I think Eddie's going to drop some food on a little bit later during the pod. So thanks, Traeger, for sending this to us. We're putting it to good work.
Specifically, Tyler. Thank you.
Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler at Traeger. He's our contact there. So
Dave is going to go more into sponsorships
shout out
later.
to Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks for the hookup. Yeah, we wanted to sit down and talk to you guys because, I think a lot of people see some faces, of the team more than others. And maybe not everyone out there knows exactly just how vast our team is and like all that goes into making Sugarshack successful. And I think that it's cool to bring what you guys do to the public because it's such a vital and critical role in it all. And that really, I mean, between you guys, you help make a lot of things happen behind the scenes that wouldn't be possible. Sugarshack's brand and reach and all that we're doing wouldn't be accomplished without you guys. So
that's true. We're kind of like in front of the scenes right now, in a way.
Yeah, you are. We're bringing you to the front.
We're in the front of we're usually on the other side of the camera, So.
That's true. Yeah,
or
on the other side of the deals, like way behind.
Yeah.
Way behind the computer. Yeah.
Once in a while, though.
I do like photography sometimes as a hobby, and like Justin is being kind of like, hey, give me some tips here and there, and it's just fun to be.
And you play a lot of music?
I do play a lot of music. I'm not playing as much as I used to. I would like to, but I'm still there, sitting on the back of my office.
Yeah.
It's something that I like to keep up with.
That's what brought you here to Sugarshack.
Yeah, it did.
Right?
It did connect me with a lot of with Eddie.
Yeah. You're playing locally, like just out in Southwest Florida. Yeah.
It was a band at the time. We played at South Street Bar and Grill.
Oh yeah, you played at South Street. What was your band?
It was called Deep Roots.
Deep Roots
at the time. It's like a lot of reggae. We worked with a lot of guys in Miami too.
Okay, yeah.
We will be the ones bringing them to the East Coast and having reggae Sunday nights at South Street. We did that for a couple of years. And Eddie's band,
you were a part of that like whole reggae Sunday night movement thing here, because Claude would talk about this a lot. Like that was her deal, like that they would go and
that's fun.
reggae on Sunday nights at South Street
in
Naples. Yeah, wow. We're having a total local conversation here. Sorry, we forgot the cameras were even here. That's sick. Yeah.
So it's Eddie was in the same journey, playing music in Naples, Bonita. He ended up touching the same bars or playing the same venues, and just like another local band. Yeah, we crossed paths and we became buddies after that, man. We just started hanging out, and he was like kind of like cooking the idea of starting like a channel or something at the time. And I was like, well, man, I'm in a band right now. Whenever you're ready for like to have us over, and he actually did. And it's just incredible to see growth over the years. Yeah,
so rad. Dave, what about you? I mean, you're a day one dude as well. What's your background? What's your history with Sugarshack?
I guess it would have started at FGCU. I did a play with a guy named Lance.
Okay.
And Eddie and Lance were friends. Lance was a bassist in Eddie's band.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
Lance was kind enough
was that
to...
Common
It was
Ground?
Common Ground, yeah. Common Ground, yep. So Lance brought me out one night. It was like this house locally, and there was just like this big jam circle going on. Everybody was in a circle playing music and having fun. And I was just kind of surprised, I guess. Like I was like, this is awesome, right? This is like little things happening here in the same neighborhood I was living in at the time. I didn't even know about it.
Wow.
And so like Lance kind of opened me up to this whole thing. And then Eddie and I were taking pictures and doing video stuff, and Justin was involved and Spence was involved, and like, Arian, all of us had this love for photography and videography. And it was really fun to watch them over the years progress. But every once in a while, if one of them wasn't available, I'd fill in for something, right? It's like Dave can run a camera. And that has built over the years to kind of where we are today, right? So it was always me. I got to tag along for a lot of really fun projects,
Wow.
over the years. Like the first session I did here was the Movement, right? Eddie was out of town.
Wow.
The Movement came through. Somehow, like they're like, let's get him to run a camera, and yeah, it was a big one to start on too. I mean,
that was your first session.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. So we had a good time, and just kept doing that, kept having fun.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the origin story. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about what the two of you guys do now, because your roles, like I said earlier, are so important, but a lot of people don't know. So, Chino, kick us off. What is your role here at Sugarshack now? Because I know it's growing into 2022 in the future,
Yeah.
so maybe just share with us what it's been and what it's evolving into and what's being added to your role and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I think like all of us, we wear a lot of hats. So it's just maybe not one role. It's more like I do a little bit of analytics, or mostly what I do is run analytics and making sure the YouTube channel is up to date, and making sure like how we're monetizing channels within social media, because social media keeps evolving every single day, right?
Yeah.
And we just have to be able to keep up with it. And website world's also like always evolving in SEO strategies, and how much marketing money should I allocate towards like each channel? How do we monetize here? Like it's just a lot of moving pieces that I think it takes a lot of time in front of the computer. And these guys are on the road. Like these guys are shooting. These guys and that's kind of like a little bit of my background too in marketing and advertising. Bringing some of that from the automotive industry back into what we do, and working with numbers. That's always been like a thing of mine. Like I like to open spreadsheets and kind of find trends and data, and being able to do that and apply into the entertainment industry, where like you can actually start identifying patterns within what you do, and how do we monetize here, and like what are some of those trends that we're seeing with monetization and views and watch time on our YouTube channel and other social medias that we try to monetize. I think that all that information, it just lives out there. And what I like to do for Sugarshack is just collect it and help tell the story as far as like this is what's happening out there.
Yeah.
That's one piece of what I do.
Yeah.
And then on the other times, like I'm just helping out with merchandise.
Right.
And I'm at those festivals, actually getting to meet the people, which is a time that I love too, right? Like I spend a lot of time in front of my computer, reading, finding out what data science is doing, what machine learning things are happening now. But I like to connect with like the actual like festivals and seeing people and like seeing how other brands come together, like big reggae brands and big festival brands rise up, Cali Roots and a bunch of people coming together and putting these like festival where like people are there to celebrate. Like people are there to celebrate life, people are there to celebrate like everything, and kind of like continues to create like, okay, what are the numbers out there that I can collect to help these growth? How can we make these better for next time? So that's just kind of like what I do.
So cool, man. I mean, just to take a moment, just to talk about the value of your role and what you do. I remember, and I think I've told you this story, but I remember I think it was like 2 trips, past where you came in and we had just started the podcast. I think we were only like 4 episodes in or 5 episodes in. I know. So it's been recent, you know what I mean?
Was that for Soja?
It was for,
I think that's where you're coming in for the Soja session.
Right.
We met up at the coffee shop. We met up at Narrative, and me, you, and Eddie sat down. And then after we took some time one-on-one, and you just opened up your computer and you said, look, let's see how the podcast, I want you to see how the podcast is performing from an analytics perspective. And you just pulled up all of these graphs and charts and percentages and, data breakdowns. And it was really encouraging for me to see how, basically, the summary was like, look, it's early on, but the podcast is bringing growth to the channel. Like, way to go. And, I think it was just such a concrete piece of encouragement and a concrete moment for me to say, like, I'm headed in the right direction with what's going on. Because, like, we can get a lot of personal, opinionated feedback, you know what I mean? Especially internally, because we're all each other's cheerleaders. But when you're able to show me numbers and data, and you're able to tell me, like, this % of the channel grew because of these podcasts or whatever, that put so much wind in my sails. And like, really what it did really is give me confidence to like further lean into my role and be confident in like the direction we're taking the podcast in and things like that. And so I want to share that story with everyone to just say how critical your role is, because I've also been a part of organizations where our numbers, our analytics, our data was such a mess, and we could never make sound decisions because, one, we didn't know where we're at like numerically, and second, we just didn't even know the right steps to take to move forward because we couldn't even identify trends, and so it's just been really awesome, man, to get to know you. And
been awesome as well, man.
I think you're great, bro.
Thank you.
So yeah,
likewise.
Yeah, it's a fun story.
Man. But I think what's my favorite thing about what Chino does is he also puts meaning to all of it. So he'll, like, the first meeting we had, I didn't know what to expect, and it was crazy. I walked out of it saying, one, like, I was looking forward to the next meeting because we had follow-up, like, action items,
We did.
But two, it was like he brought value I didn't even expect him to bring, and it took me by surprise because, I'm new to the group from like a day-to-day perspective, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting to work with these guys kind of for the first time closely.
Yeah.
And I'm always impressed with just how pro it is, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to like
wild, guys.
But it was specific to Chino's role. Yeah, some of the things that we've been working on together on the SEO side are really fun. Arian, he and I have been teaming up on things like doing a website refresh, looking at the way e-commerce is set up and updating stuff like that.
Yeah.
Chino and Arian, and they're just fantastic to work with. It's like it's a easy thing to go in the room, and I feel like we're going to come out with a plan, and I don't know, you guys, they make it easy to work with,
Yeah. It's really been cool. I think you and I in a lot of ways are in a similar boat where, we're kind of new to the day-to-day operations and kind of holding office hours with the crew. And it is astonishing. I don't think I've ever seen a team work the way that we do now. And the level of chemistry and yet efficiency.
Yeah.
Like that we operate in professionalism. It's really, we are so productive. It's unbelievable. We're literally a super group. I mean, when you see everybody that comes to the table and you're just like, it feels that each person is an expert somehow. Yeah. We like fumbled our way through life to get to this place where we bring these things to the table, and it's pretty incredible to see how we all kind of shine, even in just the mundane. Our Monday meetings are cool as shit. What I mean? And they're quick and they're productive and they're exciting and they're encouraging, and there's action item follow-ups and there's progress made. And I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Get fired up on the like kind of the behind the scenes kind of businessy office vibe.
It is fun to see that side of
HQ, Yeah,
that side of Sugarshack's cool. It's kind of like what I think Logan talked about this on the last podcast though. She said it's kind of like you guys are in a band, like like you're a band, and I was I've used that comparison before too, because we're all kind of playing our own instrument, but we're trying to play in sync on the same kind of like beat. And sometimes somebody misses a note or something, but we all are here to support each other, and we're all playing the same song, right? Yes. And that's what I think makes it work so well. Is there's a good culture here, It's like a good culture.
It's huge, man. That's huge for
culture. It makes a difference when you want to do the work because the work's meaningful to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's everything. I think that's what creates like increased life experience, living experience. Like it's elevated your life experience, and like living day to day. Like, wow, I didn't know I could feel this way or live this way. Turns out that you're just doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Claudia about this the other day, and it's like, the majority of our days are spent at our careers or at our jobs. Yeah. And if you hate your job or whatever, then your quality of life, that's the word I was looking for earlier, your quality of life is just in the crap. Or, you can do so many things to like manage that and compensate for it, but there's just nothing like having like a job that you really, really love.
Yeah. People and culture makes that, right?
Yeah,
like I can speak for myself, but like there's dark times in your career where you just have to look back and really realize, like, okay, like, am I happy here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I working towards? And this is good money, but like it's just hurting me. Like, I'm reinvesting in therapy and reinvesting on like hiring chiropractors, right? Like physical therapy for like sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours, and that just kills you, man.
Yeah.
So taking a step back and kind of like reevaluating a lot of things that you say like are important and kind of what drives you, and at the end of the day, looking back at yourself and being able to see yourself in the mirror and be like, I do what I love, right? Like. Maybe it doesn't look the way I thought it was going to look like, but at the end of it, not that happens to me, it would be happy for any of us, but it's just like one of those things that you're just happy with yourself at the end of the day, man.
Yeah.
And working with these crews have been amazing, man. They're all homies at the end of the day, like just hanging out with them, it's just a good time.
Homies for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a very interesting mix too, because this is the first time I actually get to work with friends that I've known for a while, and keeping both worlds separate from each other too. It's like, you're my friend, yes, but like you're my boss at the same time, or I'm working for you, right? Like, so like being able to draw that line, I don't think it has been a forced thing. Like, it's just being a natural thing. Yeah.
I mean, we could literally get stuck here because I could I have like hundreds of thoughts. Be like, this is.
We're talking about what Sugarshack is.
Yeah.
We need to.
Just talking about the nature, because there's so many facets of it. But before we get carried away, because we'll keep doing it throughout the rest of the convo, I'd love, Dave, for you to take some time and share about what your role is and what you bring to the table, like what your instrument is, if you will, in the band.
Sure. Well, we all wear a lot of hats, right? That's part of the deal. It's like you come onto a small team and you try to impact that team in a positive way, right? So over the years, maybe that positive way was holding the camera for these guys, but now the brand of the company and just the effort behind it all, right, it has so much momentum, and going forward, it's so nice to connect with others who understand that and have seen the journey, and they want to help, right? They want to get involved, and so people, when they come here, it's a special place, and that hasn't gone unnoticed, right? So we've been partnering with some other companies along the way. Via Citrus and Danny are awesome, and then Skylar at True Leave, and we've got Jess and Chris at Statement Piece.
Yeah.
And I can go down the list, right? We've got Chris up at Silent Sound System, who got these cool headphones, going for us.
Yep.
We've got relationships with Southwest Florida Golf Carts, who we've got a cool golf cart now where we can
zoom around.
It's nice for logistics. There's others that I'm definitely leaving off the list right now, but I came prepared. I can make sure
you've listed enough people now. You gotta make sure you don't forget anyone.
I got two more. As far as like the support we get from the community, Venture X, for example.
Venture X is huge. Thank you guys.
Spend a lot of our weekdays,
a lot of our time,
a lot of the planning and collaboration that happens.
I don't think Eddie's out here anymore, but I would imagine that Venture X has helped increase the team's productivity immensely. Because before
Yes.
Venture X, you know, having an office space there, Venture X is like a communal, like elevated communal workspace. But really
like
top of the
space.
line, top of the line,
like
luxury workspace.
The most beautiful workspace, right?
Beautiful.
We're super lucky to have it here in general, and we're even more fortunate to have access to it because it is a really cool spot.
Yeah.
So
they believe in the brand though,
them.
and they've been a huge support to us.
Exactly. So finding other organizations like that we believe in their mission, right? We love what they do, and if we reach out to them, that's because we actually use their stuff and it's helpful for us.
Yeah.
And we love them because whatever their vision is for the future, we agree. We're in alignment, right? So those are the kinds of relationships that we're working on right now, right? And bringing really fun ideas to them. So part of that process when you get to know somebody is you figure out what can we do together. And so those are the conversations that I'm having on a daily basis, right? And these guys bring ideas. So we've got like 4 that we're kind of thinking about right now. And I don't know how much I can talk about.
Sure.
But anyway, we want to go on the road a little bit. We want to do some travel stuff and you know, do some stuff where music and travel are combined in a really fun and entertaining way. There's some other ideas out there as far as how the Sugarshack transforms, right, going forward. So this physical space, how will we continue to use that going forward, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of those.
How do we make it accessible?
Yeah, more accessible. Yeah. How do we? What does that look like? And it's a conversation, an ongoing conversation that happens. But ultimately, this is Eddie and Lisa's home too, right? So they're like the ones who are personally affected by that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into like personal stuff, but it's a fun thing to think about what the potential for just the space and the company in the future and all the fun things that we have on the horizon. Those partnerships, those kind of like relationships will help us get there, right? Totally. And it's because our partners believe in what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it comes down to is, do we both see us making the world like kind of like hopefully a better place when we're done, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
So it's fun to have all kinds of support, you know?
So sick, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's been such a critical part, I think, for the channel's growth. I mean, because you can do, you know, so much on your own, but at a certain point, you need allies. You need people that also believe in your mission and your vision and can help support that and join forces, you know, and see like mutual positive impact made. And so I think that what you're doing in like the what you're starting to carve out is just the channel's gonna, I think, explode.
That's the point of it too, though. Yeah. Like when the reason we're doing this, like the why of all of it, is so we can do more channel stuff.
Yeah.
Right. It's always the way Sugarshack has operated over the years. The channel has been the passion project, and the commercial work has powered the passion project. Right. The goal is, and Chino's, this is like his baby too, like figuring out the numbers behind
what it's going to take.
It's like
for the channel to become
that's it. Like the strategy involved behind all of that. It's spread across the team, but you know, Chino's a numbers guy, so he's going to be looking at that and helping us figure out just clear milestones along the way, and so, but yeah, certainly some of these ideas will unlock maybe that you know, that
new
potential,
barrier, new kind of ceiling
barriers. We want to bring like really cool stuff that we want to do. That's always what has gone on the channel. It's like what the guys want to do is what goes on the channel, and we've got some really fun ideas of stuff we want to do. Right?
Yeah, right.
And so to do that, you know, we need some partners to just join in, and we'll go and have some fun on these projects.
We'll do cool stuff with them. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, speaking of just numbers and stuff, I would love to hear, you know, we talked beforehand. What are some cool numbers that you can share with people just on like channel growth?
That's cool.
You know, hit them with just some cool stuff.
I think you've seen a lot of it from like what we talked about.
I've seen a lot, but I'm curious to what you come up with.
A pretty interesting thing right now that is happening with like Sojo's episodes is like we're seeing subscribers not happening just in the States. Like we're almost seeing 2-to-1 to people in Brazil, for example.
Wow.
Right, so like we're like now expanding into a completely different continent. Well, southern part of America, whatever. But I just see it's just that growth. It's just pretty cool to see. Like, cool, man. Like we can go and start making the shack happen for other people, not in different countries too. Like we can now talk about like bringing people from South America maybe, because now there's like. People that hear us down there, and those numbers always been there. But I thought that was a pretty interesting thing, especially with Sojin having.
So for every so break down the 2-to-1 ratio. So for every two
American subscribers, we're getting one in Brazil.
One Brazilian subscriber. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the global potential of a band like Soja too. You know.
We're looking at like
it's incredible.
Yeah, and this is
Soja helped kind of establish that ratio now, right? Like,
for sure.
That's the trend that you're noticing.
That is definitely the Soja effect on the channel. For
the Soja effect.
That's 100%.
And they're an amazing band.
Thanks, Soja.
Love you.
It is. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing though, because like when a band like Soja gets involved and they bring that new group of music lovers with them, then they get to experience all the other stuff that's been on the channel for the last 7 years too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, in a way,
they get an arsenal. Soja brought them to the channel, and then they were like, "What the hell? There's so much content
there is.
here."
You can do a deep dive, and there's a lot of stuff. It's like it's cool. I think there's a lot of love that goes back and forth for the fans, the band, and for Sugarshack too.
Yeah.
It's just this like this great.
Awesome. What are some more stats?
I think it's like 7.8 million hours of watch content on YouTube. Maybe that's not significant to like some of the bigger guys or like bigger YouTube accounts, right? But just to kind of like say that number out loud,
7.8 million hours of watch content.
Of watch content. Like people are watching our videos, people like clicking, yes, I want to watch the next video. What else do you have? At the end of the day, we're a music discovery platform, right? And we like to, a lot of the people like that listen to our channel come back to us and they're like, I found you guys are like my music discovery platform. I found so many musicians because of you guys. So we try to do that. Like, how can we make how can we continue grow that watch time? How can we continue introduce you to the next artist and now you might have your own journey with, right? Like we're talking right now we have the chance to talk to the opportunity to talk to 290,000 subscribers at this time. And that's a large number that we can introduce them to a new artist every time they listen to something they came into the shack for. We can continue expanding this circle, and we can continue expanding like this community that we've been able to like work with.
We're at 290.
291, I think.
291 actually.
291,000.
I saw it roll over. Trust me, we
better get on there.
we
Share
watch
this
that
shit.
number. Like,
we need to hit 300.
That's definitely a number that we watch internally closely because
it's true.
I think it's fun to watch that go up, and even the 100,000 sub thing they send you from YouTube, it's right up there. It's like hanging up on the wall.
I'm trying to think.
Cool to
I mean, just since I've come in, I'm trying to remember when I came in. I want to say, and I mean, it's only been a year. I've only been, really involved for a year. 230.
Probably.
No, what do you think?
So we've been kind of doing like almost 5 per month.
5,000 subscribers per month.
Yep, it goes up and down, and that's a pretty.
Y'all listen to this shit right now. 5,000 new subscribers per month.
They come in,
I think the one we would probably watch, I like getting into the data stuff, is the growth as a percentage too. I want to see what it is year over year and month over month. Those numbers I'm always curious about those.
Me too.
So how is the growth number growing too, right? So that's
exponentially to see.
So interesting. We're growing.
We are, and we're growing like faster than before. Like a lot of the growth and a lot of the revenue that we've been able to acquire, it's been happening within the last couple of years, and there's people that have been following us since day one. We've been doing this for the guys have been making videos for the last 8 years. I came in maybe as an official employee maybe a year or a year and a half ago. I think October expenses are
you're working as a kind of a consultant though.
I've been following for a while, and I was doing marketing and automotive and analytics and And I was just like, that was my side project, man. I could always feed things that I was working with Sugarshack back into the automotive industry and back and forth. And it wasn't a pay gig or anything. It was just like something that I loved seeing and I loved tracking. And this guy is like,
project, man.
It was a passion project.
That's kind of
sure.
Comes back to it.
It comes back, man. And it was like,
because I think here's the thing that we all share in common, and I think that people should know and hear, is that all of the hard work and all of the work ethic that we all carry and it goes into this channel is not monetary based at all. It is because if you cut us, we bleed like the passion and vision of Sugarshack. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just never been a financial thing or a money thing. And so it's like we all start kind of in that way, one way or another. We're here because we love this. We believe in this 100%. Yeah. And if we never got a dime out of it, we would still be here doing what we do, you know? And we would just find ways to get creative and make money in other ways. But we would be just as invested as we are now, you know? And it's just been it's been so cool now to see that the team is growing. And I know Eddie wanted us to touch on some of this, but I mean, this is epic. I mean, just for us, I mean, we're filming the podcast right now. It's Sunday, January 9th, 2022. And just this past Friday, we sat down and the team grew. Yeah. I mean, Eddie and the 5 OGs sat down with a lot of us newbies, and it's exciting now to see how the team is growing. And Sugarshack and all of the hard work is actually now making a way for new career paths and new people to come and join the team. And so, I mean, the three of us sitting here, I know you got hired a year ago, but you paved the way for us in a lot of ways. And it's cool now. We're three newer additions to the team, even though you guys at least have been OGs from day one.
First,
church bells playing in the background.
Sugarshack history. First employee was Carla, for sure.
She was.
Yes. Carla was first employee.
Absolutely.
Shout out Carla.
Shout out Carla.
Love Carla. Carla's the best. Check out Carla's TikTok.
And like she does a bunch of stuff on Spotify.
One of my favorite TikTok accounts. Actually, it's my favorite TikTok account. I mean, Carla's Infinite Playlist is sick. Check it out.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, then you would be number I guess number 2, 3, something like that, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
So it's fun to see the team grow, and we're all kind of recent fixtures, but we've all kind of just found that this is a real passion of ours, right? It's something that, like you said, would you do it for free? And the answer is probably, I would. You know what I mean? I would.
Like, I'd figure something else out, obviously. I would be here as much as I can.
And people always say, like, try to find that. If you can, the rest should work itself out, hopefully, right? That's the goal, is like you get the right people involved, and it's just things that you could never imagine would happen. Like you get really cool bands coming through that are here in Bonita Springs, Florida. I know. It's like, what a cool thing. So
what do you guys think? Like, I mean, we're all coming at different angles and perspectives, but I mean, what are you most excited about as we look to the new year, as we're at this critical kind of growth point? I mean, we hear a lot about things that, like, Eddie, Justin Spence, Ari, and Alex, things that they're excited about. But what are you guys excited about right now?
It's a great question. I'll let you go first. I need some time to think about that.
You want me to go first?
Whoever's ready. Go Dave.
All right, I'll go. What am I excited about? I'm excited that as the channel grows, new bands and sounds and connections are going to be made this year. We're going to have we've got already booked some really cool bands on the schedule.
2022 is going to be a massive year for
really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the music this year.
Yeah.
If I had to and it's probably going to be the same answer every year for me.
Sure.
Really.
Well, I guess kind of should be.
It's the music for me. So yeah, for real, I mean that. So yeah, there's some cool ones that are already booked. And
like who, Dave?
Ooh, like who, Dave? Who are you most excited about?
I mean, I can name 3 right off the top that I'm super excited about. I really am excited about Big Mountain. Big Mountain's coming here soon.
Like soon.
Big Mountain's cool. Grew up with them, so it's like gonna be a fan something when they show up. And then, I mean, Connor Kelly, if we can get him down here. The Hacky Turtles, who are super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are the two that I just got a lot of love for. So it'd be cool to have them here.
Awesome.
You know. So yeah, the music though, just broadly the music, I'm excited for this year. Yeah.
What do you think?
What am I excited about?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. Excited to see the growth of the channel, obviously, and see the impact that as we get to grow and work with bands that are coming from different genres and with larger audiences, what's the impact of that on the bands that we've been we've had for a while now. We're like episode 600 and something.
Yeah.
Like what happens to those 600 bands or 600 songs once we get our new people coming in?
Yeah.
And I'm excited, like Dave said, like to continue like now having a new platform, like a different platform to like see other bands and like now approaching bands that before like now we're like completely out of our like we try to reach out to bands.
Right.
It's like, sometimes like
we've reached a different tier, I think, where now.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think it's a tier. I think it's just more like it's just more like now we have something really nice to offer right now. Like at the quality that they're looking for, the quality that like we both benefit from this thing. And maybe I can call it a tier. Right? Like, and I don't know what it is. But it just feels like let's just grow our business, right? And they're being in the industry for just as little as I've been so far. I've seen that it takes a community. It takes like a community to support a band. And hearing the Article Sound guys talking about the other day, like they rely on their fans a lot, and we rely on the bands that we work with a lot, and as much as they rely on us for like their content, right? Like, hey guys, like come play in my backyard. That's a big ask for a lot of people and for a lot of bands. Like, and that's the ask that Eddie's doing every single day. So there's a lot of trust and a lot of those things that need to happen in order for this to work. And I'm excited to see like what happens with the new bands that we get to work with.
It's cool, man. Like having the. I always wonder when I'm sitting here and I see the lights on the deck and like somebody's sitting there playing, or even, you know, I always think about like who would I love to see there myself, right?
Yeah.
Those are always like, what band could I imagine there?
Sure.
And it's almost like that power of like visualization. I know for Eddie, like I don't know if we've talked about this, but you told me he's over like just off camera.
Yeah, right.
You
staring off and off camera. He's checking cams right now.
When you first started Sugarshack, that you sat the guys down and said, even one day maybe we'd have Soja here, right?
Yep.
Even one day.
I think the power of that intention, right? Like being able to put that statement out into the universe and really just through grit get there, right? Just get there. And so I think about that too. Like, you know, we were talking about this before the pod, just like we're always talking about this, like who would you want to have here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could come up with a big list.
Well, what it did, at least for me, is made it's like that idea of like making dreams reality, like some Disney shit or whatever, where it's like, well, you know, if I have an artist name or a band name in my head that feels far-fetched, I look back to this story now and think, well, it was Soja, you know, and some of the other bands that we've gotten to work with were far-fetched then, and now here we are, you know, so it's really cool to then dream and be like, well, maybe, you know, maybe we could see some of that come to pass one day, you know, not maybe.
I think we
so I'm excited to see maybe some of those things come true too, you know, like just it's all, cool.
I think one of the things that I'm really excited about, you know, even into this year is because of all of the new additions. I think there's like new chemistry, new blood brings new excitement, new momentum, new ideas, you know. And it's cool because I think a lot of times in those environments with that fresh blood in, you get like, it unlocks, you know, people that have been a part of Sugarshack since day one. It unlocks new ideas and new creativity and new capacity. And I don't know, it's just, I think, and all of that comes back to music and art and, but just what kind of flows out of us, I think is going to be cool. I think I'm most excited to see what comes out of the group.
Oh, dude.
Across the board, you know, whether that's like hands-on on a music, like a session element or moment, or something else entirely. You know, I just think that we're bursting. It feels like we're bursting at the seams right now.
I think one of my favorite sessions I got to be a part of was when Mike Love came through.
Yeah.
Because that was like, the energy here was really unique for a session in general. And I've been lucky to come to a number of them. So it's like, you get to feel what it's like all the time. And that was just like another level too. So like kind of what you're talking about, those moments that something special's happening here. And it's like, just, you're and it's fun though, because we're catching that moment in time too, right? Because all the cams are going, and it's like, it gets recorded, and it's fun to be able to watch that back and have that. And so this year, like, there's some cool stuff, man. Like you saw recently, Hector Roots
Lewis,
that video just went up on Monday, right?
Which is an incredible session.
Hector's session is so sick, dude.
It's performing really well. Like it's
amazing.
It's doing amazing, right? Yeah.
All I gotta say is I'm super excited about also all the Jamaican artists that already we've gotten to, you know, like with Hector work with, and then just the potential for more. It's like, that's so cool. I'm excited for that in 2022.
Yeah. We're super excited. I mean, it's awesome. And Eddie's coming to throw some food on the Traeger. And to be honest with you guys, and Spence. And to be honest with you guys, that's a wrap, because food's going on the grill, and that means it's going to be time to eat soon.
Yeah, we can.
Unless you guys got anything else you want to say. I mean,
I think it's a wrap, man.
I'm feeling like it's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribing, sharing this video, commenting, liking. Any kind of feedback that you can give us is always really, really helpful. I know it's the plug. I know you hear it everywhere you go, but it's really important. It helps us out a lot. It helps us do the things that you want to see, that you want to hear. So make sure that you're subscribing, sharing, liking, and even on Spotify and Apple Music, those kind of platforms, it would be super helpful if you guys could jump in there, share some of the podcasts, share some of the awesome visual EPs and EPs that we're dropping on Spotify, the EPs that we're dropping right now. I think we just dropped, what's the latest EP that we dropped?
Elajet.
On Elajet's EPs now on Spotify. And so anytime you guys can do that or drop a review on Apple Music, it's really helpful for us. That way we can start seeing the podcast grow and some of these other projects grow. But thank you guys so much for your support, for your love. Once again, thank you, Traeger, and to all of our sponsors for making tonight possible. We love you guys. We'll see you next time for another episode of Sugarshack Podcast.
All right.
Sit back, relax, 'cause it's time for another podcast.